Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. Hope all is well. In my pursuit to be the best possible horseman that I can be, I often reach out to horse trainers and horsemen and women and try to pick their brain, learn something from them, and that is exactly what we're doing this morning. We're going to go visit Krista Eichler, better known on Instagram as KEEquine.
She's a 11-year-old quarter horse, and she's what most people will call finished on the barrels. She is more so cowbred, so she's got those really nice turns, and she can really get down low and cut across the pen super nice. But one thing that she's kind of been doing a little bit with her owner lately is shouldering and kind of running through barrels. So of course, barrel racing, if you hit a barrel, you're out of the money. So we've been working on fixing that. Now Georgia has a little bit of a stiffer style of turning, and I say that because even though she's stiff, you can see I can still bring her and bend her nose around here. So even though when she turns, she kind of stays straight, and for me that's personally what I'm after, because when they're straight they can just kind of roll on to the next one. I can still ask her to get soft no matter what. I think sometimes people get to where they're afraid to do this kind of stuff on their barrel horse, but it's really important. People watch like Sister run, and she is straight as an arrow. She goes around those barrels like there's no bend to her, which is great, and that's part of the reason why she's so fast. But at the same time, when Haley picks up on her, she can get this whole thing right here. Okay. One thing that we've been doing kind of to help her out, and it's not a whole lot of drills necessarily, it's just kind of getting her to stay honest and honor this inside rein here. It is slow work. Now, when I say slow work, I think a lot of people think that they're doing slow work by going around the barrels really tight, one-handed, and just doing this, doing the pattern slow, which in a way, yes, that is true. But in your slow work, you're supposed to kind of pick and choose and look at your run and say, hey, what can be sharper? What do I need to work on? Okay, so when you see me do slow work, you'll never see me go to one hand, and you'll never see me try to turn the barrel super tight, okay? Because if I start doing that, when I add speed, there's not a whole lot for them to go off of except, run up here, and then, okay, turn right here, and then we're gonna get that whole action there, okay? So, in my slow work, it's very important that I really kind of stay out here and ride two-handed to kind of work on whatever it is I need to work on with different horses. Now, because she is stiffer, I may want her to have a little more nose here and give me a little more bend in her body. Okay, but if I was on a horse that is too bendy, then you'll see me kind of do a little bit less of this. I'm not saying I don't do it at all, but just kind of, do as the horse needs. Okay, so I may pick up a little bit of speed here. And what I'm looking for is for her to just kind of stay on her tracks and move forward. You'll find, like right there, with these horses that want to really hunt the barrels and get super close, that as you push them more, they are going to try to get really close to that barrel because you're kicking them to their spot, so that's kind of what they've learned. So if I just kind of let her go and kick her, look what she does. Okay, that's not what I'm after, because then she loses forward motion, and that's when she starts to hit the barrel. Okay? So I'm going to try to keep her out here. See how she's shouldering? I'm going to pick up. Good. Get back on your tracks. Good. So see, when I added pressure right there, she automatically thought, oh, I got this. Let me just go right next to the barrel and she'll quit, and I can get out of this. But I want to make sure that she honors that inside rein there and steps up under herself. And now when I do this, I have to be careful with my body that I don't start doing this move where I lean in, because that will happen right there, okay? It's important to sit up straight even in your slow work. And don't fall in or fall out. So right here, I'm just gonna push her over, push her over. And if she's not honoring her inside rein enough, I'll break her down and say, hey, what does this mean? This means I need you soft and I need you to get over when I say get over, okay? And I think sometimes when people do slow work, they're kind of scared to turn the barrels all the time, but this is kind of like flexing a muscle, right? Like if she can't do this, or if I only work on this a little bit, then her muscles aren't super strong and her muscle memory isn't super strong to do this. But, you know, there's the other side of the coin where if I do this way too much, she's gonna hate it. So I'm just kind of looking for what I'm looking for. I'm looking for her to stay on her tracks, stay honest, honor that inside rein a bit. Good, and then I'll stop her. And normally I may leave the barrel when I come out, but for her, she kind of takes that as, you know, she'll come in super tight and maybe knock it, and you know, I'm putting pressure on her, or her rider's putting pressure on her to get close to that barrel, then she leaves it. So she kind of thinks like, oh, I did good, I got to leave it. So I stopped her right now while she was kind of in the turn. A little bit of speed, and I'm gonna ask her to lope. And what you're gonna notice when she starts going faster is her body's gonna start kind of drifting towards that barrel, and she's gonna straighten up. She's not gonna be as soft. So what I'm going to look for her is to kind of get soft while she lopes and drive that hip up underneath so she can push off, okay? So we'll start out. Okay. There. There. And one thing I'm not doing is holding, okay? I'm a big believer in letting your horse kind of do the work by themselves. When you start holding them there, you're not giving them much to go off of. Because if they do it right, you're still putting pressure. So I'll kind of like pick up, release, pick up, give it back, pick up, give it back, good. And then she can learn how to stay on her own tracks. Because ideally, you know, when we're running barrels, the more you touch your reins, the slower you're gonna go. There, she's starting to lean in when I'm not asking her to, so I'm just gonna bring her out. Say, hey, honor that inside rein. Get over when I want you to get over. There. Now, if she was super bad about shouldering, one exercise that I sometimes do is just taking them the opposite direction. So I'll kind of show you that at a walk. If I were to put pressure on her, now she's going to be super light because I just did that little drill there. But if I were to put pressure on her and she fell in like that and was just so bad to where she just kind of ran to that barrel, I would just take her the opposite direction. And what that does is it automatically stands that shoulder up. So say she kind of started doing this move and was really like sticking her shoulder out, I would just kind of take her the other way until she stood that shoulder up. Good, and then we go off again.
And I like what you talked about when you talked about not holding them. Like you said, like you got to let her do it on her own. Too many people have they they see that they do it right, and they're like, well, let's just hold it here. And it's like, if you're holding it there, you're not giving a release of pressure, and they don't know that they're doing it wrong.
Yeah.
And if you do it too much, right, if you do the same thing too many times, they're like, well, I already did it like 15 times. Why am I still doing it? I must be doing it wrong.
Why are you keeping me here? I'm going to start looking for different ways to get out of the situation.
Exactly. No, that was smart. That's a good point to make.
And you know, I learned that from doing reining.
Right.
Yeah, because that really taught me like the whole horsemanship aspect of everything. And I started reining when I was 14, and I did Western Pleasure at 12. So, you know, that upbringing really helped me into making a really nice horse.
Right. Yeah.
Because I wasn't just, you know, riding and being a jockey. I started to become more of a horseman.
Right.
Or horsewoman.
Exactly. I mean, that's the reason why I'm doing these. Like, that's why I like calling people that I don't know and being like, hey, can I just come, like, just learn and listen and be around you, because you always pick up something different. When I come here, I pick up something different. When I go to Todd's, pick up something different, and on and on and on. And that's just part of being a better horse person.
Absolutely. And you don't have to listen to the advice. I mean, you can take it.
Take what you like and take what you don't.
Yeah, exactly. That's kind of how I started doing colt starting, because I would watch, you know, a bunch of videos. I would go to clinics, and I would say, okay, you know, I watched someone lay a horse down. That was kind of scary. I don't know if I want to do that to my colts. Like, I watched someone force a horse down, and then I watched someone, you know, kind of get them to lay down and make it their idea. And so I kind of took that, and I was like, I like that better than the whole. But I mean, to each his own, right?
Sure.
Like, the person that forced them to lay down is more successful than I am currently. So I'm not like bashing that method in any way.
Just take what you like, and
that's just what works for me. I'm more somebody that wants to make it their idea.
Yeah, for sure.
So that's
cool.
really off topic, but
no, it's good. It's good to talk about.